President Akufo-Addo inaugurates biggest mall in West Africa, Kumasi City Mall. CSIR to prioritize orange-fleshed sweet potatoes to boost local production. And government of Somalia appeals to international community to lift arms embargo. Hello, good evening. It's time for news. Live on GBC24 and GTV. My name is Soyokwo Kwakuchere. I am Shirley Annan. Clement Sam is our signer for tonight. President Akufo-Addo has inaugurated the $95 million Kumasi City Mall with a call on managers of shopping malls in the country to focus on the sale of local goods. The president said an import-driven economy cannot grow at the desired rate to generate jobs for the youth.
The Kumasi City Mall is the first to be opened in the Ashanti region. The $95 million mall is a subsidiary of the Liko Investments that owns the Accra Mall and the Achimota Retail Center, both in Accra. The Kumasi Mall is situated at Asukwa along the Asafo-Atunsu Highway within the industrial enclave of Kumasi. The mall offers a wide range of products and services.
The concept of malls had potential for growth in Ghana, even if such growth would manifest at a rather slow pace. We knew that one-stop comparative shopping in an evolving economy like ours was a necessary and a viable alternative in our local retail space.
The Ashanti Regional Minister, Mr. Simon Osei-Mensah, called on the business community to take advantage of the strategic location of Kumasi to invest in the city, assuring them of value for their investment.
The Regional Coordinating Council will offer the maximum cooperation and support to ensure the success and sustainability of this and any other project in the region. The doors of Ashanti are open to both local and foreign investors, and I assure you of the best Regional Coordinating Council and other stakeholder sector facilitation for investment incentives.
President Akufo-Addo noted that the budget just approved by Parliament has policies to change the fundamentals of the economy, to shift it from raw material exports-based economy to production towards industrialization.
As has been made evident in the first budget of the Akufo-Addo presidency, the Asempa budget, the economic program of my government is hinged on the additional value to our raw materials in a process of rapid industrialization as we enhance agricultural production and productivity. Our priority is to do all we can to give our entrepreneurs the certainty of a positive business environment, devoid of arbitrary and irrational policy initiatives.
Akufo-Addo advised foreign investors not to engage in retailing because it is against the laws of the land.
It is not right that our country continues to be a retailer of cheap imported goods, whilst the capacity of our local producers remains weak. The government, through the Ministry of Trade and Industry, is adopting relevant strategic measures to ensure that non-Ghanaians do not engage in petty retail trading. Ghana's doors will always be open to investors in retail trade, but they must respect the rules and regulations governing the sector.
The president entreated managers of the Kumasi City Mall to reserve at least 20% of their purchases for locally produced materials.
Minister for Energy in charge of petroleum, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adams, has visited the site of the gas explosion in Takrady and the victims of the accident at the Fiankwanta Regional Hospital. He told reporters a committee has been set up to investigate the cause of the gas explosion.
The Egyptian Foreign Minister, Mr. Sameh Shoukry, left the country after a two-day visit. He told GBC24 the Egyptian government is doing all it could to revive tourism. The sector has been the hardest hit in Egypt since the Arab Spring political disturbances. Mr. Sameh Shoukry spoke to our reporter, Mavis Ofei-Champon.
Egypt relations dates back to the 60s. Those relations have culminated in the signing of Memorandum of Understanding aimed at growing the tourism sector, agriculture, trade, among others. In an interview, the Egyptian Foreign Affairs Minister, Mr. Sameh Shoukry, says Egypt can learn from Ghana's success areas in security, good governance and democracy.
Ghana is a beacon of modernization and ability over the last 3 decades to create security and democracy and the transition of power and human protection and promotion of human rights and the conditions for the Ghanaian people, that Egypt can also benefit from this experience in its transition after the revolution of the 25th of January and the 30th of June and our successful new constitution and presidential and parliamentary elections.
Wheat production is one of the mainstays in Egypt. Asking how agriculture can be boosted in Ghana, Mr. Sameh Shoukry said irrigation practices together with other mechanisms can enhance productivity.
Space and the facilities for increased agricultural production, Egypt has the market to absorb this agricultural production of almost a market of 100 million inhabitants. So there's a great deal of complementarity that we must take advantage of, also in the areas of industrialization and how we can mutually import and export both the ability to produce here in Ghana with Egyptian investment, but also for Ghanaian entrepreneurs to invest and produce in Egypt. Maybe some of the agro-industrial processing of a major component of the Ghanaian economy, which is the cocoa importation, will enhance the value of this important product that the world cannot live without.
He called for the condemnation of all forms of terrorist practices in the sub-region and the continent as a whole.
We must deal with the phenomena of terrorism, and how best to do that is to deal with it comprehensively and to address all of the terrorist organizations in a unified manner, and to also deal with the political and with the economic situations that has given rise to this phenomena, to deal with the cultural issue and the ideology, and to protect our citizens from any form of recruitment, to enhance our cooperation in the intelligence field and in the military field.
The Foreign Affairs Minister, who was in the country for a 2-day visit, has left Ghana to Egypt. For GBC24, Mavis Ofei-Champon reporting.
The Egyptian Foreign Affairs Minister, Mr. Sameh Shoukry, held bilateral talks with his Ghanaian counterpart, Madam Shelia Yokobutwe. Economy, trade, investment and political issues took center stage of their discussions.
The ties between Ghana and Egypt was at its peak during the era of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and Mr. Anwar Sadat. The latest call by the Foreign Minister, Mr. Sameh Shoukry, on his counterpart, Madam Shelia Yokobutwe, aims at strengthening trade and investment relations between the two countries.
Currently, there's a variety of Egyptian investors that have found a very receptive environment, and we hope that there will be a greater number of investors that will take advantage of the security and the stability that Ghana is characteristic of.
I would like to see a lot more Egyptian businesses coming to invest in Ghana. Our president talks about his policy, which is trade and not aid. We want our friends to come in and invest in our country. We want our friends to trade with us. We are not asking for handouts. So I've presented these to him, and I've said to him that we want more companies to come and help us in our energy sector and also in agriculture, in tourism, etc.
Mr. Samuel Shukri and Madam Sheila Yokoboche signed a memorandum of understanding to affirm commitments of continuing and deepening bilateral ties between the two countries. In the fourth quarter of 2016, Ghana recorded a trade surplus of $46 million over Egypt. For GBC24, Ofeyiwa Dakon reporting.
Meanwhile, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Madam Shirley Ayokobuche, is appealing for support from the international community in the country's fight against illegal mining or galamsey. The appeal was made at a meeting with heads of some diplomatic missions in Ghana.
Galamsey activities over the years have had and continue to have negative impacts on the environment and socio-economic development in the country. As a result of this, water bodies have been polluted and the environment degraded. But now, government has realized that without a holistic approach, the battle against galamsey can hardly be won. Now, the latest group of persons to be engaged in the galamsey campaign by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs are the heads of diplomatic missions from the Pacific, Asia and Middle East. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. John Peter Amewu, said there is the need to sustain the campaign against illegal mining. He was, however, quick to add that without effective collaboration by actors within and outside the country, the goals set cannot be achieved.
We believe in regional integrations, and we believe in neighborhoodness. But as long as we want to open up our doors for interactions, development of this country, we also believe that the laws and rules and regulations of this country must work. Most often in Africa, and not Ghana in specific, we understood democracy as lawlessness. And that is exactly what is happening here. Lawlessness emanating from the fact that most of our foreign internationals know that the land of gold, Ghana, is an area that you can go and do anything and go out friendly. What we are against, and we stood strongly against, is the methodology and principles that have been applied in the mining process. Our environments have been degraded, forests have been destroyed, water bodies have been polluted, to an extent that in most of the communities, water treatment plants are not able to operate because of the turbidity in some of these rivers.
The Minister for Foreign Affairs, Madam Shirley Ayokoboche, appealed to the diplomatic community to take bold steps to address the maltreatment of Ghanaian labor migrants.
I urge you to work assiduously with our government to achieve these two objectives. First, to leverage the goodwill, democratic credentials, and respect of our country to attract development and business partners to help realize our desire for faster economic growth, job creation, and sustainable development on the back of a revamped agricultural sector.
A 15-minute documentary tagged Trading Ghana's Water for Gold was shown for the heads of the diplomatic missions to be abreast with the current state of the country's natural resources as a result of galamsey. For GBC24, Ofeyiwa Dakon reporting.
There are calls for the government to make the orange-fledged sweet potato one of the priority crops in the country. The International Center for Sweet Potato, a research organization affiliated to the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research (CSIR), has said making the new potato variety a priority will boost local production, create jobs, and make it more available on the Ghanaian market. Thelma Taki has been following that story.
The orange-fleshed sweet potato, or FSP, is another variety of the sweet potato, orange in color and rich in vitamin A. Researchers say The OFSP is full of antioxidants which enhances vision and boosts the immune system. It is also a great source of vital nutrients for pregnant women and lactating mothers, as well as children under 5 years. At the forum in Accra, farmers, breeders, scientists, nutritionists and entrepreneurs explored ways to boost production of the crop, educate the public on its value, and also discuss ways to get the orange-fleshed sweet potato onto the Ghanaian market. According to the stakeholders, a review of the country's current agriculture development policy to include sweet potato as a priority crop will be a major boost to efforts to create demand in the local market. The coordinator of the Ghana Agri-Sector Investment Program, GASIP, Mr. Roy Ayariga, called for support to make the crop a staple in Ghanaian homes and diets. The Deputy Director of Horticulture at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Mr. Harry Bleponi, pledged the government's commitment to creating the enabling policy and socio-economic environment to support the promotion of the orange-fleshed sweet potato.
The government will explore all opportunities to address the myriad of challenges faced by relevant actors along the sweet potato value chain. Lack of improved seeds and planting materials, inadequate application of recommended levels of inputs such as fertilizer, and high cost of input, among others. We promise to support the dissemination of OFSP and ensure it is demand-driven, thus stimulating its production, ensuring profit for producers and nutritional benefits for the large population of consumers.
The country manager of the International Sweet Potato Center, Mr. Ted Curry, said apart from the health value, the crop has the potential to be a foreign exchange earner for the country with private sector support.
Ghana imports a lot of wheat flour. Sweet potato as a substitute for wheat flour can have some foreign exchange savings, and so there's quite some opportunity for investment in that area.
Stakeholders say the orange-fleshed sweet potato is fast becoming a staple crop in some West African countries during a pilot program due to end in August 2017. In Nigeria, it has been incorporated into the school feeding program. Burkina Faso is also part of the pilot program. Thelma Taki, GBC24, Accra.
Regional and district officers of the Information Service Department in the Western region have embarked on an information dissemination program on the 2017 budget policy statement.
Met residents of Prestia and the Prestia-Huni Valley district of the Western region. They were taken through some of the key policy initiatives, such as the One Village, One Dam and the One District, One Factory policy, the planting for food and jobs, among others. The participants were small-scale miners, market women, assembly and unit members, and officers of the Ghana National Fire Service. They asked questions and made suggestions. Other issues such as Coastal Development Fund and tax relief were also addressed. Mr. Kaim Frederick is one of the program coordinators.
We educate the people using the local language, the language in which they will be able to understand. We have trained officers for that. We spoke about the various social interventions such as the One Dam, One District, One Village, One District, One Factory. They are some of the interventions that we explain to the people, and we give them the opportunity to also ask questions and contributions that they think bothers them or they think government should at least bring to improve their life.
The exercise was a collaboration between the Ministry of Finance and the Information Services Department.
Good evening. My name is Morris Ogbete. We do business brought to you by NIB and Ernest Chemist. Now, a much anticipated auction for one of the world's largest diamonds has fizzled out. The government of Sierra Leone rejected a $7.8 million bid for the rough. And back here in Ghana, prices of vegetables such as tomatoes and cabbage have increased across the country. Traders at the Nima market in Accra explained that at the start of every rainy season, supply of tomatoes and other vegetables decreases, pushing up prices. However, predicted a drop in price of the items by the end of June.
Experts say a routine intake of vegetables will not only boost one's health in terms of physical growth, but also help in prolonging life. In Ghana, vegetable production is done in almost every region, but still, some are imported from neighboring Sahelian countries, including Burkina Faso and Niger. Just like any other crop, vegetables production in Ghana is mainly rain-fed, and this largely contributes to the price hikes and the glut that is usually witnessed on the market. At the Nima market in Accra, Madam Marian Amegashi sells tomatoes and onions. She said the prices of vegetables are not stable because their production is based on seasons.
During the raining season, there is difficulty in transporting the goods, so this leads to price hikes.
Madam Rita Tete is also into trading of vegetables. She said, currently, a box of tomatoes and onions sell at 450 Ghana cedis and 500 Ghana cedis respectively.
There is a season for the tomatoes. We can buy them at 200 Ghana cedis, but when it is in the lean season, the price goes up.
Yeah, 4 million, 5 million. Any price about
Hajia Mimuna Madu and Madam Naomi Hammond said, of late, the drive to eat healthy foods has contributed to the high demand for vegetables, hence the hike in the prices of the commodities.
Where ma awon kasa utaji we pa o je say oil ni di we de bia wo di ti say ewia na pa awon obenya no.
Eating vegetables make us healthy, unlike eating junk foods.
Many pound ni mojani ade etimi di yen kuma fro etimi ebi muso di efro ebi mu di yen kwan any ade ntiye.
Ajara trades in vegetable, which is locally referred to as ayoyo. It is best consumed with banku, tiozavi, and akple. Ajara, who described the ayoyo business as very lucrative, said the prices ranges from 1 Ghana cedi to 3 cedis.
Top best no. Ebi was 700 600. Yes, we 200 e be chechire 1 cedi atom. Ebi so to me toy antia na mo so amako so to mo miensa 2 cedi. Almost got ton almost some dey wako.
Miss Humu Jisu sells carrots, cabbage and green pepper. Nutritionists say carrots is a good source of antioxidant agents. Furthermore, carrots are rich in vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K, vitamin B8, pantothenic acid, folate, potassium, and iron. Mr. Juicer says a bag of cabbage, which used to be sold at 100 Ghana cedis, is now going for 400 Ghana cedis. She attributed the jump in prices to a drop in supply.
We do not have imported carrots. The big ones go for 4 cedis, while the onions go for 2 cedis 50 pesos.
2 cedis. Near 25.
The Planting for Food and Jobs campaign that has been launched by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has taken off in all the 216 districts across the country. Among the 5 priority crops are sorghum, maize, rice, soya, and vegetables.
So from the Nima market, we go to the stock market, where Cowbank says its financial performance is on the path of greater success this year. An executive director of the bank, Mr. Philip Redu, gave the positive forecast when he represented Cowbank at a routine organized by the Ghana Stock Exchange. Fact behind the figures.
Cowbank has over the years been one of the best performing banks in the country. The bank's profits increased over 50% in 2014 and 14% in 2015, the period most banks were struggling in the country. However, directors of Cowbank have described its performance in 2016 as below expectation, with profits dropping from 160 million cedis in 2015 to 7.2 million cedis in 2016. a development the bank attributed to the high provision for impairments, which amounted to almost 200 million cedis from the energy sector levy. The expenditure increased from 175.2 million cedis to 345.3 million cedis for the period. However, Cal Bank increased its total assets under management from 3.35 billion cedis to 3.59 billion cedis between 2015 and 2016. Its liabilities also increased from 2.84 billion cedis to 3.9 billion cedis in 2016. According to the bank, first quarter profit of 2017 went down, as well as net interest income dropping from 75 to 73 million Ghana cedis. But deposits saw 40% growth in the first quarter. One area the bank had a lot of concern about is non-performing loans, which increased from 4.8 to 9.2%.
On the non-funded income side, we had some dip of about 10%, basically arising out of certain challenges which also impacted on the impairment loss in terms of the transactions, that the trade business that we do with the BDCs, which constituted quite a significant part of our business.
He outlined a number of measures the bank is undertaking to improve its financial performance in 2017.
We expect performance to be better than what we did last year. Obviously, we expect to go back into what we've been known in the market in terms of performing very well. During the presentation, I did mention that we had quite significant challenges last year within the energy sector, within the commerce sector. And I think the prudence and the best thing that we had to do was to recognize those challenges, let the market understand what those challenges are, and then be able to move ahead.
Meanwhile, Cal Bank says its second largest shareholder, private equity firm DPI, has successfully sold its 27.7% stake in Cal Bank to Arise BV of the Netherlands, a development which saw the bank's share on stock markets dropping significantly. But directors are optimistic that measures put in place have started shoring up the price of the shares on the stock market.
We also go to the interbank market, where the cedi maintained its value against the British pound and the US dollar to close trading at 5 cedis 43 pesos and 4 cedis 20 pesos respectively. The cedi lost marginally to the euro by a peso to end trading at 4 cedis 57 pesos. And on the international commodities market, light crude is trading at $47.93 per barrel and cocoa at $1,984 per ton. Gold is selling at $1,220 an ounce. And finally, before we go, Mr. Eugene Asante Fosu Hene has been appointed Acting Controller and Accountant General. Mr. Fosu Hene was a former Deputy Controller and Accountant General responsible for managing government treasury. And that will do for business. We'll bring you some health news after this break. Stay with us.
Thank you very much for staying on. Vodafone Ghana has launched a new service for persons living with disability. The Super Care service would afford persons with speech and ear impairments the opportunity to easily communicate via video calls at an affordable price.
Digital telephony is an integral part of technological advancement. It is part of the ICT revolution. In Ghana, over 1% of the population face challenges in speech and hearing. These have become barriers to modern forms of communication. To turn things around, Vodafone Ghana, which is one of the biggest telecommunications networks in the country, has launched a service for persons living with hearing and speech challenges. The package, dubbed Special Care, comes with a free SIM card loaded with 1 GB of data bundle, 1,000 SMS, and a mobile phone for the first 100 purchases. It is also a communication made easy for persons living with disability. They could communicate in sign language via a video call using minimum of 50 pesos recharge vouchers. The Director for Fixed Business and Customer Operations, Mrs. Patricia Obonai, said the Special Care service is to bridge the gap between people living with disability and the rest of society.
We are committed to igniting the digital revolution in Ghana and to ensure that no one is left behind digitally. It is at the heart of all we do, both internally and externally, to ensure that our customers are satisfied. By acknowledging that it starts with us, we are indeed taking the essential step in creating and maintaining a loved brand that we can all be proud of.
Through sign language, the president of the Ghana National Association of the Deaf, Mr. Emmanuel Saki, expressed appreciation for the gesture by the company, which will ensure that persons living with disability are within the circles of modern communication.
Deaf people need sign language in Ghana because sign language is the official language. And without communication through the medium of sign language, there's a communication gap. I call on my colleagues across the country to take advantage of this offer from Vodafone and sign up for this special package.
The Deputy Minister for Communications, Mr. Vincent Sowa Odote, said government would consider the use of sign language in basic schools.
I happened to read a letter imploring government to consider tackling this pressing challenge head-on by making sign language an integral part of the basic school curriculum. This, he was confident, will ensure that our young ones will be conversant with communication with all groups by the time they are out of school. I want to assure you that this will be given a very particular attention under this new government.
The CEO of Vodafone Ghana, Madame Yolanda Cuba, said the company has employed persons with hearing and speech challenges as staff to offer customer care to the disabled community. Disabled persons who face challenges using the Special Care can dial *494# and they would be assisted by their colleagues who work with the service provider in sign language.
And that's it for health. Coming up, we have international news.
Hello, good evening. Let's talk sports. I'm Theophilus Sampa. The death of ace Ghanaian sports journalist Christopher Opoku has left many shattered. He died of cancer whilst receiving medical attention in London. The tragedy has triggered tribute across the globe. Late Christopher Opoku was 43 years. Here's a profile of him.
Hello everybody and welcome. This is another edition of Sunday Night Live. My name is Christopher Opoku and I'm here with my co-conspirator, Carl Tufor, and simply put, forget ye not that ability without mentality is barbarism.
Christopher Opoku was a graduate of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and worked as a sports broadcaster in many radio and TV stations. Born in Scotland, Christopher Opoku, who had a distinct British accent, had a sports presenting career spanning 18 years. He rose to become one of Ghana's most recognizable media faces with his baritone voice and sleek commentary and punditry skills. He was an all-rounder as his write-ups were impeachable and made great reads. He was host for many major international tournaments, including the African Youth Championship hosted and won by Ghana in 1999. The Nations Cup organized a year later, and in 2008, he was Administrative Secretary of the Ghana League Clubs Association, GALCA, in 2013. Sports eclipsed his lesser-known passion, which was music. It had been a hidden talent, but his first love. The former member of KNUST Mass Choir has an album to his name, Oye Mame, launched in 2011. He was also a choir master in his church, Believers House of Worship International in Ungwa in Accra. Christopher Opoku was married to Mrs. Vivian Opoku and had 3 daughters, namely Dora Nana Ama Bota Opoku, Christabel Mercy Mami Ama Opoku, and Constance Nana Ajua Opoku. The unfortunate occurred when on Wednesday, May 10th, 2017, Christopher Opoku passed on in the UK whilst receiving treatment for cancer, according to a close family source. The TV host, who had been off air for some time, battled an unknown ailment that caused his disturbing weight loss last year. Shortly after his recovery, the sports journalist posted a memoir on his Facebook account in which he revealed that he had suffered from rectal cancer.
They are sacking him and bringing in somebody who has done well but has not won the league before. Is it the equivalent of selling your LED to buy Chopbox TV?
It's the only way to operate.
Okay, and there's one other thing. Have you heard of the word de-irrigate?
May his soul rest in perfect peace. The male and female volleyball teams of the Ghana Fire Service have eliminated the El-Wag-based Lord of the Wings in the ongoing Greater Accra Volleyball Knockout Championship.
The Greater Accra Volleyball Knockout Championship is underway. In one of the matches played, Fire Service ladies in the red jersey clashed with their civilian counterparts, the Lord of the Wings. Playing the best of 5 sets, the Extinguishers had everything going their way. The Fire Lads recorded a 3 straight set win, 24 points to 12, 24 points to 14, and 24 points to 23. In the men's division, the Fair Lads continued from where their ladies left off. They took a commanding 2-0 lead in the best of 5 sets. The Lord of the Wings team regrouped in the 3rd set and won by 25 points to 21. The 4th set was fiercely contested. Both teams displayed the stuff they were made of. But after some spiking and smashing, the Fair Lads stood their grounds to carry the day, 25 to 19 points. With this result, Fire Service joins the Ghana Navy, Ghana Police, Ghana Army, TCL, Emmanuel Presby, University of Ghana Warriors and Tudu Magics for the next stage of the competition. There were mixed reactions from officials and captains.
Most of the ladies, this is our first time playing the league, and as time goes on, we promise you are going to make it up to the team.
Our secret is our training. We're not released early, but when we came, our coach taught us what we are supposed to do. Our covering. When we have the covering, I know we'll win.
This is about our 3rd match, league match we have played. So it is just based on certain technical mistakes, but we are going to correct it. Very soon, everything is going to be all right about El-Wag's wings.
We have some lapses somewhere, and we've got about
key players who are injured cannot play this year. But without them too, we know by the first two will be in it.
Next for the teams is a return to the league, which is in its third week.
Let's quickly go to Takrady, where the search has started for this year's Ghana's fastest 100 meters sprint king and queen. More than 200 athletes participated in the event. The Ghana's Fastest Human Search is a 7-year development program aimed at scouting and grooming the fastest Ghanaian male and female athletes in the country into world champions. The 100 meters competition is open to athletes, both male and female, under the ages of 10, 15, 18 and seniors. The 2017 edition started in Takrady for athletes in the Western and Central regions. More than 200 athletes participated in the quest for selection. In the boys under 10 category, Jeffrey Opoku Jr. from the Ashanti region finished third with a time of 15.35 seconds. Chumesi Ampofu, also from Ashanti, came second with a time of 14.85 seconds. Samson Yamiba from the University Primary School in the Western region came first with 14.82 seconds. In the girls category, Charlotte Sidua from Dadueko School in the Ashanti region came first with a time of 14.02 seconds. She was followed closely by Abigail Baini from Amankwetia School with 14.04 seconds, whilst Juliana Kusi from Westco Primary in the Ashanti came third with 14.81 seconds. In the boys under 15 category, George Odum from Ashanti finished first with a time of 12.68 seconds, while Salifu Bilai came second with 13.01 seconds. Kennedy Asenso came third with 13.06 seconds. Doris Efie won the ladies under 15 category after crossing the finishing line with a time of 12.48 seconds. Selena Sapon and Irene Nate came second and third with 12.61 seconds and 12.70 seconds. The boys under 18 saw Felix Akumeyi from the Western region coming tops with a time of 12.01 seconds. Bright Opon and Solomon Udonko came second and third. The girls under 18 finals was won by Cecilia Ashinyo with a time of 11.86 seconds. Rafia Tunu came second with 12.17 seconds, with Gift Yuku finishing third with 12.68 seconds. The highlight on the day was the seniors event. In the female division, Ida Mensah from the University of Ghana beat Mary Sam and Faustina Moa for the ultimate with a time of 11.91 seconds. In the males event, Charles Ocho beat Emmanuel Utru Mensah and Desmond Ayi with a time of 10.36 seconds to carry the day. The second round of the selection process will be done for the Upper East and Upper West and Northern regions in Tamale on Saturday, May 27 this year. National Women's Football League enters March Day 3 this weekend at the various league centers across the country. Here are the parents. In the southern zone, at the Bompe Park, Hazakes ladies will tackle Lady Strikers. At the Ningwa Town Park, Samira ladies will face Holy Royals. At the Indum Stadium, Sea Lions will face Soccer Intellectuals. And at Teshi Mats Park, Police ladies will welcome Immigration ladies. In the northern zone, at the Tamale Annex Stadium, Northern ladies will be facing Fabulous ladies, whilst at the WA SHS Park, Real Upper ladies will sit home and play Ampem Dakwan. At the Sunyani Coronation Park, Prison ladies will lock horns with Kumasi Soccer Academy. And at the Police Depot Park, Ashtown ladies will face Lepo ladies. That's all for sports.
Thanks for staying on. The 13th Annual Africa Movie Academy Awards AMA 2017 nomination night will be held at the Kigali Conventional Center in Rwanda on the 13th to 14th May 2017. AMA recognizes excellence of professionals in the film industry across Africa.
Established in 2005, the Africa Movie Academy Awards, popularly known as AMA, celebrates and rewards talents in the film industry across the African continent. The awards also promotes the development of African films. Come this Saturday, May 13th, A nominations event to select winners for the main movie awards will be held at the Kigali Conventional Center in Rwanda. AMA is one of the most prestigious awards in Africa.
Now I'll bring you some tidbits.
That still means I'm sick, right?
Because I was pretty sure you didn't hear that part when you overdosed on Viagra and raped me for a grueling 30 minutes.
Curvy Ghanaian actress Jocelyn Duma said she would love to act in Kumawood movies, but says nobody is giving her roles. The actress, who is also known for her physical attractiveness, is not happy about being sidelined by Kumawood movie makers. Jocelyn said she has shown a lot of interest in Kumawood movies, but nobody is giving her roles.
The weather report is next. And before we go, a look once again at the headlines. President Akufo-Addo has inaugurated the $95 million Kumasi City Mall with a call on managers of shopping malls in the country to focus on the sale of local goods to about 20%. The president says the economy cannot grow at the desired rate to generate jobs for the youth if the country continues to remain import-driven.
The International Center for Sweet Potato has called on the government to make the orange-fleshed sweet potato one of the priority crops in the country. They say making the new potato variety a priority will boost local production, create jobs and make it more available on the Ghanaian market.
And that's all in the news for now. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate your company.
We'll bring you news tonight at 10 p.m. Thank you for watching.